You know, I had a look at this dungeon off screen and it turns out, yeah, it is way too hard for us for now. We should probably save that for later, which I mean probably a lot later. Cause, let me tell you, this is serious. So, yeah, like I said, saving that for later, exploring this island some more. Specifically, whatever it is that is further to the east. Puzzle, isn't it? Or that's what I expect. I mean, this looked like hello. No, sir, I don't. What are those? Two-handed swords, that's what those are, but I don't need one of those. That's nice. I'm happy to hear that. I don't know very much about abstracts. Lady Green has an amazing art collection, so much morality to be had. But sadly, she has the place well defended. Well, not anymore. Where are we? And what is its purpose? There's money lying around, that's something. Whole witch thing is ridiculous. They made them way too powerful. You don't see me complaining. Abstracts are creepy. Yeah, they can move you up in the hotel, but damn are they creepy. Oh, this is a hotel. For ghosts, apparently. Who don't seem to have any needs for amenities like beds and whatnot. Fascinating, I guess. Anything else to be found here? Well, you know, that's this game, isn't it? You just kind of keep exploring and you run into all sorts of strange things. I mean, that's kind of how it's been going, isn't it? Like, we started off with a relatively clear main quest, but ever since we finished the stuff at the Divine Tower, it's just been, you know, just feel free to pursue whichever thread you want, and well, maybe you'll find things that are interesting in some capacity and might bring you closer to your goal of rescuing Marcus. Like, what is this entire area? There are enemies yet. What the hell are you? A cosmic horror, yeah, that's what you look like. I believe that's also the sort of enemies we are dealing with in, you know, the dungeon we just were. And they seem to be pretty tough. Or so it seems. Yeah, the point stands. I think I'm probably underleveled for this entire area. Like, individually, I can deal with enemies like this. It's okay. But... well... once there's actually more of them at once... things are starting to get a bit too tough for me. I mean, look at that guy. Look at how much he tanks. It's wild. I mean, he also does a good amount of damage, doesn't he? This all seems like a bit too much for now. And I mean, it's not like we don't have all the time in the world to return to it later. Yeah, no, there's no point to this. We're just banging our heads against the wall here. There are so many other places we can go first. Most of them vastly less dangerous than this one. We don't necessarily need to learn all about abstracts right now. I kind of do want to know what's in a southward direction, but we'll probably run into an enemy sooner rather than later, won't we? Yeah, I think so. Nah, no point sticking around here right now. I don't feel like there is. So once again, we're gonna leave and save this entire little area for later. So, Golem's Hand, Lampless, Count's Island, that seems to be the one. I mean, when in doubt, return to Ghost Town, I guess. I mean, we are still pretty far away from upgrading our army. And I suppose that's not specifically what we're here for. Population, poor unemployed. But as previously established, we can... The robots were not perfect. They too made mistakes, God being one of them. What I was about to say. I don't know, I forgot. 2 unemployed. Yeah, well, we can assign them something. Best probably the mine. Considering that's what makes money. We can't upgrade anything here, can we? No. Well, fine then. We can perhaps buy better parts for the golem. And perhaps we should. I don't feel like buying a particular elemental core for him. But it might not be a bad idea to buy... to buy a golem sword free. It's not a lot of money that would cost us right now. So, anything else we can do? There is, of course, no point in trying on the angel again. Like, that guy is still way too much for us. Taking another excursion into the Infinite Hotel. Probably not much of a point to it either, but I kind of want to know... No, not Poetry of Rust. I kind of want to know whether anything has changed then since last time we were there. Ghost Town, no. What was it called? The Edge, that's what it was called. Yeah. And also, while we are here, we might just want to have a closer look at this entire area. I feel like that might also be an idea. But first things first, the Infinite Hotel. I still think that... we're probably wasting our time here. Yeah. None of those doors open still. Now I do remember that Joel, the guy who sells us keys, has items in his inventory called hotel keys. And it seems quite reasonable to assume that those are probably for these doors. But if he's selling them, I reckon there must also be a way to come upon them in different ways. So let's not jump the gun there and spend a lot of money on something we don't need. No. We are gonna continue exploring the area leading up to the hotel. I think we might be ready for that. Hello! Oh. It's another doll. Presumably another left doll. There sure are a lot of blue torches around here, which is cool and all. Lots of bookshelves, like very early on. The miners told us about how they are actually quite educated, considering they explored deep into this mine and found a large library, and I think this might be the one they were talking about. And we can go deeper still. But let's first see what's on this level. Before we go any deeper. This is back to the mines. That's okay. Also, despite this being full of bookshelves, none of them seem to be readable. So no, I do think we might want to go down. I don't think we thoroughly explored this level, but yeah, the library. That is the library proper. Will it not? Pseudo Hell. Now that sounds like a fun place to check out. Good, if it really was like hell, I don't think I would have liked it very much. Typical RUR. Realistic, unreal reality. Now we might not want to go all the way down there, but... yeah, all the enemies here are running away from us. We should be safe. Now as for Pseudo Hell itself, I'm not sure. Yeah, this guy is a regular enemy elsewhere. But at least so far we're fine. Perfectly fine, in fact. That should finish him off. And it does. Darkness grows weaker. It should be quite weak now indeed. So this goes down, presumably to Pseudo Hell. And this is a population upgrade. Yeah, none of those bookshelves are readable. Shame. Is that really all there is to this library? I had hoped it might be a bit more exciting. We have already been down. Yeah, this just leads back here. Okay, further down we go. Towards Pseudo Hell. Now, for why it is called Pseudo Hell, God only knows. Christ, that's a lot of bookshelves. Facts of Knowledge, Volume 6. Far ancient Italy was known as Rome. They ruled with one of the largest landmassed empires of all time. A mercenary army mixed with a Great Depression allowed northern barbarians to sack the capital. Based barbarians, they tried multiple times to recover their old empire, but failed every time. Their last attempt was in the early 20th century with the creation of fascism. And we all know how that turned out. GDP means gross domestic product. It is an attempted measure of a country's productive output. While not fully accurate, it does have accuracy. Improved definitions were made in the 22nd and 23rd century. North Korea and South Korea have the same DNA, but people have very different heights. The North, who are poor and barely fed, are much shorter than the South, who are not. This is further proof that humans physically adapt to their environments. For being taller requires more calories to live. Accurate. Human genes are vastly similar throughout the world. A white person can be more genetically related to a black person than another white person. This is one of the reasons why geneticists avoid the arbitrary term known as race. They do. At the time of 2021 AD, which I think was probably the last time this was updated, the flag of Denmark was the oldest flag on ancient Earth. It was adapted on June 15, 1219, the same month and day the last fantasy novel ever published was. The last fantasy novel ever published, eh? Moscow is the capital of ancient Russia. At the time of 2020, the total population of Russia was estimated to be 145 million by the UN. Russia helped the Allied forces in World War II. Well, the Soviet Union did. That had very little to do with what Russia has become since then. After the war, it became the new perceived threat. A scientific theory is not the same as a theory. A scientific theory is an explanation of an aspect of the natural world and universe, one that can be repeated and verified through observation and the scientific method. A theory is just a guess. Gravity is a scientific theory. Knowing a ball will fall is a scientific law. Scientific theories explain why something happens. Laws just explain that something happens. I know. The amount of protons in a molecule determines its element. The more protons it has, the more electrons and neutrons it can hold. The larger it becomes, the more unstable it becomes. This is why element 455 was not discovered until the late 22nd century. Element 455 is the source of interchangeable physics. All elements after it are simple resets. This is the law of creation. See, that is kind of the thing. Like, some of them are just fairly well-known facts that you should already be familiar with, but others are lore. And we do like lore. Medical knowledge, well, no, later. I think, no. Big bangs create their own physics, each with their own unique signature. Yeah, I know. Because we've already read that. That we also know. The monument is regarded as the second best afterlife to the original government of R. It has retained this title since the titles began. Some believe it is the true winner, but it always rejects the title. The monument, eh? Common events are events used in an ancient program known as RPG Maker. Oh, don't get meta on me now. More meta that is. Expressions created by this program are of extreme moral value. Expressions created by deficiency productions are worth even more of an extreme amount. Tips of the GAMMAC, Volume 1. Focus less on the tools and more on the work. Many humans get lost at the store and never visit the workshop. Tips of the GAMMAC, Volume 2. Do not share their game. Share it only when testing is needed. Many humans share too early and thus lose motivation, for they have received the acceptance they had sought, or worse yet, the rejection they did not, whatever that means. Be sure to sacrifice at least 6 times a day. A doctor a day keeps doctors away. This will enhance your GAMMAC. Praise be to the altar. Variables are your friend. Common events are your friend. Self-switches are your friend. If you do not use any of these, do not lead a team. For you're not ready to lead. Sure. We'll be here for a while. The hotel deems the game mech to be the most divine. Those that practice it are given all the Lambos. And that honor those that have but no longer will are given even more. Drive safe. Plan not only to quality and capability, but also to motivation. For motivation is primary resource of the game mech. The other resources are junk food and depression. True for a lot of things, honestly. Be fearless in your game mech. Do not simply copy or honor those before you. Exceed them. Or at the very least attempt to. Good advice. Finding music is hard for the game mech, but it is an important endeavor. For music is what sets the mood, and is remembered before scent is forgotten. Good. You got this, human. Get that game mech. The Altar believes in you. Borrowing ASF history of some town you'll reach, Volume 1. There was a guy. He, did things, I think. I don't know. I was just told to write something. We are running out of ideas, aren't we? So, yeah, this guy, was great at checkers and, riding horses. Yeah, that works. Riding horses. He was great at checkers and riding horses. The end. This is the final book of the series. The end. Go read something better. I'm planning to. Hidden status effects. Now we are getting into the interesting stuff. Frozen Spear. Best chance to cause frozen physical and is able to knock down ice walls. See, there is a lot going into this game's combat system. A lot of which is not self-explanatory or at all explanatory. The average human body has around 2.5 trillion red blood cells in their body. A red blood cell can circumnavigate the human body within 20 seconds. The average heart beats around 100,000 times a day. Great. Electrical signals travel through the human body by around 120 miles per hour. Humans are about 70% water. Humans carry around 5.6 liters of blood. Human eyes are about 3.5 salt. Humans shed about 1.5 pounds of skin a year. Blinking one eye requires 200 muscles. Trivia before we scene. Dosage is what primarily determines toxicity. Consuming too much water can cause death. True. Arsenic is a naturally found poison. I know. Ancient Earth, Volume 1. We have read it, I think. I don't remember the name of Captain Cook was one of the first Westerners to arrive on the island. The humans there cooked him. He was delicious. Lesser Artists, Volume 2. Well, where's Volume 1? Lesser Artists do not value other artists, yeah. Lesser artists overvalue other artists. Lesser artists replicate other artists. Lesser artists do not create, they record. Lesser artists undermine other artists. Lesser artists only express. Lesser artists use personas. Oh, come on. Good artists sometimes do too. Traveling Sega CD Salesman Volume 1. No one wants this project. It is outdated. It has Sonic. Yeah, I don't see why anyone would want Sonic games. The rejected artist hates all artists. They hate Sega CD. They love Nintendo. Rightfully so. I am a rejected artist. I hate Sega CD, but I also hate Nintendo. Why would you? And those that fear it. Create your Pokemon. Disappointing Person Volume 1. A woman wanted to know me. She wanted to know beyond the mask known as the first date. She was too political. I did not seek those topics. I sought sex, as did she. But she was too political. She loved Ben Shapiro. Yeah, that's a pretty good reason to dump her. No sex secured. Disappointing Professor Volume 1. Most of this stuff is completely arbitrary, isn't it? He taught economics, but did not know he taught economics ignorant. He taught economics, I slept on hand. He taught economics, I was wise. He taught economics, I questioned school. He taught economics, no more questions. Disappointing website, volume 1. They did not care. The lesser artists of this program, they are selfish. I regret interacting. They do not care. The lesser artists of this program, they are self-absorbed. They would not understand. So this is part lore dump and part history of this world, isn't it? No. We are going through every single one of those. I mean, not through repeated ones, obviously, but... You know, we want to find at least every unique one. It was delicious, yeah. Hawaii became US territory in 1900. In 1959, Hawaii became the 50th state of the United States. In 2071, it was granted sovereignty and Hawaii reverted back to it being its own country. Good for them. Lesser artists see what is seen. Lesser artists do not value other artists, overvalue other artists, yeah, I know. Fuck those lesser artists, really. Yeah. Disappointing professor, taught economics, I know. Disappointing website, I know too. I do not reject them, only some. My persona of happiness, my persona of positivity. Disappointing help, volume 1. She sought help. 30 minutes. 5 was late, 5 closed early. She regret reaching out. She thought to reach out again. 30 minutes. 5 was late, 5 closed early. This experience is forever. I'm getting very... Yes, you are. I'm glad you're noticing. Function of time, volume 1. Time is the measurement of which things exist. The faster the speed, the more they've existed. The slower speed, the less they have existed. Time travel is a myth. Time can be altered, it can be slowed or even sped up, but it cannot be reversed. The notion of going back is a fantasy as old as time. Yeah. The Artists, volume 1. One is jealous, one is crying. One is pretentious, one is violent. Yes. One is censored, one is even more censored, and one is the most censored of them all, and one is you. The Watchman, volume 1. Adam was the first watcher, but he failed in his duty. The apple was eaten, and so we are born with sin. The Watchman, volume 2. There was a war, and the Lord lost. He lost to the faggots. He lost to the communists. He lost to the demonic forces that try to corrupt us and our children. We must not lose. God is relying on us. Written by QAnon. The Watchman, volume 1. We are the watchers. Those that must put an end to this fake heaven. The Lord tests us in life, and we are still living. The Watchman, volume 4. Jesus will return, and the degenerates of this altar will burn. The fake angels will be revealed, and God will reward those who have served. So, there seem to be some who seek to destroy this version of the afterlife. Church of God, volume 1. Artists are degenerates and homosexuals. No real afterlife would ever worship them. This place is satanic, blasphemy against the word of God. It must be delivered. Crying Artists, volume 1. Suffering is true art. AI invokes no suffering. It invokes only curation. The hotel understands this. This is why it worships the height of naturalism. Alien humanity is the apex of suffering. It must be exalted. All who oppose are obstacles to expression. They must be shown meaning. The jealous one has moved. It understands the hotel as a threat. Why we cannot let it continue. No more shall it be in the lead. The pretentious one has not moved. It refuses. It believes it's in the lead. It is not. Freedom in America, volume 1. This afterlife is woke. It has all kinds of hidden agendas. Agendas that keeps trying to shove down our throats. I don't want politics in my afterlife. So much wokeness going on up in here. Makes me want to throw up. I'm one step away from grabbing an AR-15 and fixing things. The wokeness must stop. Freedom is all you need. If a businessman isn't ripping you off, then you're not experiencing true freedom. You're experiencing communism! Stop the wokeness! Everyone wake up! Written by QAnon. Pretentious philosophy 101. True art is therapeutic, true art is entertaining, it does not repeat itself. Poetry of Bronze, I don't care. Do they have the complete Poetry of Bronze series in here? They may very well, but it's not what we're here for. Considering we've already read that. Wokeness, I know. Woke, cuck. Yeah, I've been long enough on the internet to know the routine. They ruined Star Wars. They did, yes. After the last guy who ruined that helicopter, yeah. True art has no message. True art is entertainment. True art does not preach to you. True art is true. And art, that's true art. More Poetry of Bronze. Even more Poetry of Bronze. The Poetry of Bronze continues. And continues and continues. How many are there? I think like 25 or something. Accounts endless event this one inside the mansion. Well, there are many things we found inside the mansion. And answers is a very generous term for them. $22. Ghost Town, fine, don't care. I know all about the Ghost Town, don't you mind? Status effects, I know all about those too. Next time a person can have, yep. Lineage, we have read most of those. And this is where the actual lore is, but we already know most of that. Facts of Knowledge Volume 5. The United States was a country of ancient Earth. It was founded by a far-left revolutionary group that rejected conservative monarchy. How the mighty have fallen. A century and a half after its founding, it became a major world power. Flags belong to this country are valued at high levels of moral currency. We know about Italy. We know about GDP. We know about Koreas. We know about the flag of Denmark. And about the capital of Russia. Yeah, those repeat. Okay, I'm not saying we're getting closer to the end, but at least, well, more and more are repeating, which means we don't have to read them and can skip them. Now, Faces of Sky, Volume 1. His family lived in the city inside the hotel. Undercity, it was called. A place between hallways and paradise. Wait, I'm gonna make a note of that. City called Undercity in the hotel. I feel like this might be significant. I'm not sure how it might become significant, but I feel that it might. His father had a normal employment. His mother was a traditional woman. Besides from the occasional arguments, they were a traditional family. Until his father saw her. The face in the sky. His father arrived home late. His eyes were wide. He shook uncontrollably. Is that green rain? His mother asked of his father. It was. The face in the sky had cried onto him. His father had seen it. His father was never the same again. He quit his job. He quit his marriage. He even quit his children. All he did from that point forward was to sit on a roof and stare stare into the sky, always looking, always staring, for her. The rest of family gave up on him, for this was a common case. A common case of those who accidentally looked up at the wrong time, even sometimes bathed him. But his son took care of him. He brings meal to him at the roof, even bathe him when needed. But his father never acknowledges his existence, for all he ever did was stare up, always looking, always searching for her. One day the son was arrested. He was not a perfect person. He had multiple flaws, one of which was gambling. Gambling that led to robbery. He served 20 years. When the son was released from prison, he already knew his father had died shortly after he was incarcerated. None of his family, his mother, siblings, or even uncles or cousins fed his father on the roof. His father, like most victims of the face, died of starvation. A few more years had passed. The son was now the same age as his father long ago, before the face was seen. The son was casually walking roof to roof in order to get groceries. With his age slowly creeping up, he stumbled, catching his bags before they fall. He stretched his back and readjusted his grip, and for a slight moment he forgot. We always forget. It's just a thing we do, forget. Forget at the wrong time. And he ended up like his father, I take it. Flag of Denmark. Go away with that. Scientific theory. Whatever. The amount of protons in a molecule determines its element. The more protons it has, the more electrons and neutrons. Yeah, I know. The larger something is, the larger its gravitational field. Gravity bends time. The higher the gravity, the more potential to time manipulation. Reversing time accurately requires not only extreme gravity and equipment, but extreme energy and prediction. On a planetary scale, it is deemed practically impossible. The largest planetary reversal was only a few years. Its accuracy is still debated to this day. Propelling time forward is a more cost-effective way to emulate the past. Okay. The physics outside of the universe are known as original substance. They radiate anti-space and anti-gravity. Holding the substance is physically impossible without element 455 or above. Yeah, the stuff about Big Bangs we have read. This we have also read. Saying this one day will subconsciously steel you against the horrors of the mundane. The altar of the game mech depends that you do not be mundane, for we are logarithmic. Compress your image files, yes, all of them, and no, they are not compressed by default. But if that is too much work, at least do the animations. For this will severely improve your expression's performance in combat. You know, if ever I try to actually make a game myself in RPG Maker, I'll keep that in mind. Most divine, yes. Given the Lambos, I know. Plan not only to quality and capability, but also to motivation. For motivation is primary resource of the game mech. The other resources, yeah. Still, very much true. Human eyes, I know. Dosage, I also know. 100 gold, I'll take it. Hawaii, sure. Are we through with all the unique books? Like, is the rest just going to be stuff we have already read? I wouldn't be complaining, because this is kind of a lot. This is the stuff about disappointing people, I know. Questions, yeah. Disappointing websites. There is some autobiographical thing in there, I take it. See, that is the sort of stuff you only find in, like, really obscure indie games. Church of God, Volume 1, they're killing our sons and daughters. The hotel is turning them gay, transsexual, making them hate who they truly are. This is not heaven, this is something else. These angels wear strange masks, carry strange things on their backs. None of this is written in scripture. We are being deceived, perhaps even tested. Well, there are some pretty weird angels in the Bible. As is probably common knowledge by now. Suffering is true art. Yes. Apex of suffering, I know. The chalice one is moved, it understands the hotel is a threat, but we cannot let it continue, the more shall be deleted. Poetry of bronze. Is this going to be the entire thing again? Ghost town. Okay, don't need. So again, all familiar stuff. So let's go a row deeper. They sure have a lot of issues of the Poetry of Bronze series. Common Tactics, Volume 2. Knockdown has the opposite effect of shields in terms of attracting enemies. Enemies are less likely to lose the momentum of standing around them. This is the only technical weapon on the ground has. I think we have read that before at some point. Almost will sometimes stand back up when knocked down. When they do, a hidden free turn, 25% knockdown resistance is implemented. Knocking down enemies can be extremely important. Yeah, I do it a lot. Some enemies such as snakes, slimes, etc. can never be knocked down, and for obvious reasons. Yes, those that can suffer have great advantage in combat, suffer no battle fatigue and when fighting, or no time in training, which is often sought after as mercenaries. Violent artists, yeah, we have read that. This book is not above it all. This book, like everything else, is a part of it, but events they can't foresee, something there exists the grasps. Assignments, we have also read already. Well, that leaves only a few more. Not touch angels, I know. There's an all, fact of just is, fire burns the skin, water cleans the soul, yeah. Mana essential life. This still doesn't have a title. Basic magic. Don't need that. Step back up and up down. So that the row above. That too. It's best to have life and what we do. We do know all about assignments. There is, by the way, also a gameplay benefit to reading as many books as possible. Like, there is a hidden knowledge stat that allegedly affects some conversations. Whether it affects them greatly, I don't know. But it does affect them. So we're gonna be complete here. Get back to... You got this, human. Get that Gemmag. The ultimately, yeah. Then there's those wonderful books that provide such great insight into this game's lore. Okay, it's just this one row. That's how I like it. The Disappointing series, aptly named. There should be another one called Disappointing Books. The Ancient Earth series. Less artists, okay. It's outdated, it has Sonic. The young artists fear Nintendo, they fear copyright, they are weak. The young artists overvalue their parents, they overvalue their peers, they are weak. The rejected artist hates all artists. They hate Sega CD, they love Nintendo. There's probably a message to all of this. I'm a rejected artist. I hate Sega CD, but I also hate Nintendo. And those that fear it. Create your Pokemon, yeah? Also stuff we've seen. Yeah, the guy complaining about wokeness. The guy talking about true art. I feel like we are sort of getting to the point we read most of them. But you know, we have to make sure we can't just take it for granted that we've read every single book. We should at least skim all of it. Also, the stuff about buying books is something I'm wondering about concerning the ghost town. I don't think I've seen a single opportunity to buy books. What's up with that? Status effects, sure. Angels, yes. Had some pretty bad experiences with those. I think we can consider ourselves pretty much done with this. Again, I'm just going to skim it to see if to make sure I'm not missing anything. Yes, you are. Found 60. Captain Cook. Wasn't he an interesting guy? The guy who was great at checkers, sure. Traveling salesman. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we are fairly done. As of now, they're just repeated. Well, this is what the miners down here learned. Good for them. Good for them. We got the lore dump. And it was partly interesting. Yeah, I think partly is the word here. There's a save point here too. So are we coming up to a boss fight? 2 powerful monsters are ahead. Fine. Power of Decay. All these spells to remove it, besides that, don't take them lightly. I never take anything lightly. So, quarter life them. Hamstring this one. Oh, the librarians, that's what they're called. One holy and one dark, aren't they? Get them down, let's see. Poison them, definitely. They do seem to be fairly powerful. I didn't quite take them seriously, but maybe I should. Well, one goes down. And the other one's scared. So, what am I afraid of, really? Knocked down, but that's okay. We can still attack, and we will. And down goes the second one. Book of Hate and Book of Love. Well, who wrote those? No, but seriously, what are they about? Are they key items? No. They are equipment items, I take it. Are they? Yes. Half ceiling received, plus 25. Okay. I don't see any need for them, but okay. And that's pseudo hell that we were told about. It is pretty crazy. Yes, no pseudo hell. Best to avoid them as much as possible, especially the bigger ones. Fine. So this certainly seems like an interesting place and all, but locked, of course it is. Well, there's sure to be a shortcut back here. But there was also another floor of the library, perhaps? Or at the very least I don't think that that ladder led to pseudo hell. So we'll have a look at that first.